All right, who's ready for another video? ProSportsExtra.com is where you're going to find all your pro sports and extra needs. So head on over there, ProSportsExtra.com. But I'm going to answer a question here on Twitter from Noah. And of course, as always, you can follow me on Twitter at Justin Watry. So basically, I put a little thing out, said, hey, anyone got a question for me? Any video, column, whatever, who cares? It's Sunday afternoon. But anything you want answered, whatever, I'll sit here and make a video or write something about it. So he asked, when do I anticipate full capacity crowds again at live events? Ouch. Well, it's pretty tough to say. So I'm going to split this down in two. So obviously, I'm going to start with the sports section, and then whether you consider it a sport or not, I'm going to head on over and talk about a little WWE/slash pro wrestling on that. So let's start with the sports section. So the best barometer for this is probably what the Super Bowl just did. I know it was held in Tampa. I know it's Florida, and rules kind of are a little different there than maybe in other places, but they had about 25,000 fans. The stadium, Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, it kind of fits, I think it's like 80,000 something. So basically, it is limited capacity. So I know the question's about full capacity, but it's a Super Bowl. Everybody obviously wanted to see a full, big stadium and, the big hoopla, 100 million viewers for the big game, of course. So they did their best with that, and then what they did in between there was a bunch of cardboard cutouts, which I thought was a pretty smart idea. They were in between people, so if there were spacing or different pods and sections that were kind of filled up with people, you could put some cardboard cutouts, and of course famous people and all that good stuff you can do. And then on top of that, they were very smart with, I believe it was 7,500, vaccinated healthcare workers. So they also fit that in there, a little thank you gift to them and everything like that. So you knew that they were safe going in regardless. So I think that worked pretty well. There was no big issues. There's no big controversy afterwards. And we've seen it sprinkled throughout other sports. I know the Milwaukee Bucks have just started. A buddy at work of mine, he just went to a game. He went Thursday night and you had to get a rapid test at the door. I think Miami Heat were doing some dog sniffing thing or something. But again, that's limited capacity. So if you were so close to the court or whatever it was, you had to get a rapid test. Took about 30 minutes, and if you were cleared, then you were cleared to go in. Other than that, again, same basic stuff. A lot of the drive-throughs are doing it. Everything is cashless, so there's no actual exchange with anything. They literally just stick out the card machine. You still stick the card into the little slot thing, and then basically you don't even have to let go of your card. You just put it in 5 seconds, it'll beep, whatever, you're good. So again, no contact, no nothing. So it's about as safe as you can possibly get right now. But again, that is all limited capacity. So back to the question of full capacity, I have no clue. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not the political guy. I don't really follow any of that. I'm not on one side or the other of the coin here. But it seems that it's going to be a while. So everybody that somebody at work the other day, one of my bosses told me, oh, it might be, I think Memorial Day. Everything will be back to normal by Memorial Day. Well, we heard that last Memorial Day. So, it's been a year now. I understand the vaccines and stuff are going around, but, I don't think Memorial Day, so I don't think sports are going to necessarily jump in and have 20, 30,000 people suddenly crammed next to each other and, sitting arm in arm next to the little arm post there as you're nudging your arm and, having human contact again, as they say, with everybody, 20, 30,000 people. I don't think that's going to happen as much as everybody, I'm sure all the sports owners wants to collect the billions and billions of dollars. And it's going to have to wait. My best guess is probably not even till the end of this year. If it is, it's going to be fall, maybe winter if they really want to push it. But I'm thinking 2022 to start. Maybe it'll be a big hoopla thing in the beginning of the year. Welcome to the 2022. And then everything can somewhat, quote unquote, go back to normal. Now I'm going to switch it over. If you want to turn the video off now, I understand it. But if you want to keep listening, that's also up to you. So I'm going to switch it over to WWE. So back in March, I got kind of lucky because in late February, NXT was coming to Wisconsin, and I had never been to an NXT show. And I had said a million times, whenever I can go, I'm going to go to an NXT show. It's kind of one of the things on my bucket list. I went to WrestleMania in 2017 in Orlando, actually flew down there for that reason. And you wouldn't believe it, but I wanted to go to an NXT show. I didn't care if it was non-televised. I didn't care if it was a house show, live event. It didn't matter. I want to go to an NXT show. That is the show to watch right now. That is the show. That is the hot brand. So late February, it's coming to Oshkosh, kind of a weird place to go to, but whatever, is Oshkosh. And I ended up going. I finally pulled the trigger after all these years and went to it. And I lucked out because guess what happened 2 weeks after that? Basically the world shut down. So in hindsight, I'm very glad I ended up going. It was obviously a great time. But here's the thing, while sports shut down, March Madness, everything you can name got canceled and shut down. WWE did not. They continued. Now, sure, they got rid of the fans and live events in big arenas, But they kept going. What they did was they went to their training facility, which they have in Florida. And again, it was not ideal at all, not the best situation that anybody could have imagined. But, it was basically an empty training facility, a big empty gym with a couple of rings. And it was pure silence, no fans, no nothing. So that's how they got through March. And then WrestleMania was in April. No big stadium because the idea of a huge empty stadium with no fans in it, again, you can rewind a year, that was not going to fly too well. So again, they literally stuck inside their empty training facility. That's where WrestleMania was last year. There was no big pyro, no big hoopla. It was wrestled in front of silence. And you can go back and watch it. It was in silence, literally. The matches, everything, they went through with everything still as planned, but not good. So they continued their shows. They continued taping sometimes a week or two in advance just to kind of get everybody and then send everybody home for 2 weeks. At first, it was starting with temperature checks, and then then they did do tests for everybody. So they slowly improved it. But then starting in August, they introduced the Thunderdome. They introduced the Thunderdome. So the Thunderdome is basically what you see on a lot of sporting events right now. It's video screens as fans in the stands. It's, not ideal, but they pump in crowd noise. You boo, you cheer, all that stuff. But, you're sitting at home and you're basically, your image is on the screen on TV. I was a part of it, I think, 2 or 3 times. And, basically you kind of then look for yourself. Where's my face on the screens? Where are my blah, 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 blah. And you hold up your belt or your title or your championship, whatever you want to call it. You have your shirt on, you boo, you cheer, you put the thumbs up, the thumbs down. It's not the greatest, but again, they have one of the top production companies in the world, so they ended up dressing it up, and it's been fine since. But again, in terms of actual attendance and in terms of paid fans coming to the door, it hasn't been happening since last March. So all that will change though in April, WrestleMania. They are allowing fans in again, big stadium. It's going to be limited capacity. So this was the big news they dropped a few weeks ago. We are nearing the date. I believe it's the second weekend in April, but we are getting closer. They have not announced any details yet, but similar to the Super Bowl, I believe it's an 80,000 seat capacity. They are going to be trying to fit about 25 30 fans in there, and then cutouts kind of the break up the monotony. And I'm sure, they'll have a couple, legend or maybe some that have passed away, the cutouts into the crowd. I think it'd be kind of a cool idea. And again, it breaks up the audience and makes sure that everyone's kind of not sitting by each other. So it's just little cool ideas like that. And like I said, there's dog sniffing, there's vaccines, there's different little things with the rapid tests that you can do to make this safe and go off without a hitch. Again, the question was full capacity. I can't answer that. I'm not even going to pretend to be an expert on any of that. But WrestleMania this upcoming year, and I believe 5 or 6 weeks now, whatever it comes to, it'll be the first time in a long time for WWE. There's actually going to be live fans in the stands. I can't say that I'm not jealous, but that's the situation we're in right now. But that is my answer to that question. ProSportsExtra.com, I'm sure, is going to have a whole bunch more on this. Again, ProSportsExtra.com. We cover all the crap that you can think of, whether it's sports, entertainment, and yes, all the quote unquote extra stuff out there. Until then, Justin Watry saying, have a good day.